What's up guys, Samuel here, and today I'll be reviewing a game that used to eat up all my time. Genshin Impact. Yup, the one that had me glued to my screen for hours. So, I want to start by saying Genshin used to be my favorite game back when I was really into gaming. But I've decided to press pause on my gaming journey and focus on the ultimate game, life itself, like improving myself and leveling up in reality. So now I just keep the installer lying around. Technically, I still have Subway Surfers on my phone, but that's just for quick leisure. No commitment like Genshin. But let's set all that aside for now and let's focus on the game Genshin Impact. Let's go. Genshin Impact is an open world action RPG with gacha mechanics. Think Breath of the Wild but with anime style and online play. And the best part, it's free to play and available on PC, mobile, and PlayStation with a Switch version coming soon. So now that we know what kind of game Genshin Impact is, let's take a quick look at its origins. The game was released in September 2020 by MiHoYo, now known globally as Hoyoverse. It had a massive budget of around $100 million, a huge risk for a new title, but it paid off, quickly becoming one of the highest grossing games worldwide. Since release, Hoyoverse has kept the game fresh with regular 6-week updates, new regions, characters, and events that keep players coming back. Alright, that's the overview. But let me tell you about my personal experience with Genshin Impact and why it hooked me from the very beginning. So I actually started playing Genshin Impact during the first release of the second banner, I think. That was Please Banner in version 1.0. And honestly, the first 5 minutes already had me hooked. The story intro, the music, the environment, the characters, everything felt like stepping into another world away from reality. What I loved the most as a beginner was the pure sense of exploration. I didn't care about the metas or becoming strong. I was just enjoying the adventure, climbing the mountains, unlocking chests, and discovering places I'd never seen before. And it really felt magical. Of course, I also experienced some of not so great sides early on. Losing some 50-50 wishes, getting unlucky with RNG for items, but honestly, those were small things compared to how much I enjoyed it. At that time, I was just happy to play the game every day. Now let's talk about what makes Genshin Impact really shine. The landscapes feel alive, every region has its own identity, and climbing mountains or gliding over valleys is just breathtaking. The soundtrack is incredible, and personally, the Lantern Rite music blew me away. It perfectly captured the festive vibe in Liyue, and I actually stopped moving for a few minutes just to listen. I also really love the characters' designs and animations. Some of them just look so cool that they make me want to pull for them. And of course, they're strong too. The elemental system is super fun. Combining pyro, hydro, and cryo effects never gets old, and it keeps fights feeling dynamic. Events and patches every 6 weeks make sure there's always something new to do, which is really impressive for a free-to-play game. Of course, no game is perfect. Here are a few things that can be frustrating at times. If you're unlucky, chasing characters or 5-star weapons can feel punishing. Trust me, I've lost more 50-50s than I'd like to admit. One of the things that actually made me quit for a while is that the developers don't always seem to pay attention to certain parts of the game. Unlike other gacha games that really try to please players, some rewards feel small or underwhelming. Some special events, for example, don't give you as much as you'd hope. The stamina-like resin cap slows progression, especially when you want to farm materials for leveling characters. Some events feel recycled after a while, which can get a little boring if you're a regular player. At the end of the day, Genshin Impact is an impressive free-to-play game. The art, music, and world exploration are truly stunning, and the combat system is engaging and fun. The characters are memorable, and events keep things interesting, at least most of the time. Of course, it's not perfect. The gacha system, some underwhelming rewards, and repetitive content can be frustrating. But despite those issues, I still think it's worth playing. Overall, I'd give Genshin Impact an 8 out of 10. It's a game that hooked me as a beginner, and it left a lasting impression even if I paused my journey for now. So that's my review of Genshin Impact. How about you? What are your favorite things about this game? That's all for today and see you next time. I guess in Taibat.